Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have Nocturne, the Emerald Destroyer that we haven't seen since January on this channel, because he is truly a strong hidden OP. Now, this game we don't actually have a runaway snowball, which is of course very easy to kind of always, use that angle, especially with Nocturne. Your Stride Breaker, your Black Cleaver, your GA, and poof, you win the game. In this game, we're talking about the message, you're always losing until you win. And typically that happens in a lot of games where people don't have raw early game fundamentals down to a T, but they have good mid games, especially in coaching and in the courses and everything like that, looking at all these players who climb, but they have these negative early games almost all the time. Now, we obviously have a Nidalee against us here, so we are expecting the buff Nidalee to have a stronger early, which means sometimes it's not necessarily by accident. Sometimes you're just letting the enemy jungler do their thing so you can get your spikes, and then you strike when the iron's hot. Let's see what happens in this game, because again, the gold graph is like this until it's like this. Now, we have the Nocturne doing a Raptors, Red Krug solo leashless start. The Nidalee's most likely up here. We see this. Thank you, good ward. Always huge to place this. You can get your Echo, right? Your mid laner to place this sucker right here at this time, around your 120-ish mark, at least, earliest really. You're gonna get good vision on this right here. The Nocturne says, right, let me get ahead of her by looking for bottom linking. Now, we're investing a lot of time into this, but the Blitzcrank, he is a bit sussy feeling, I think. And just because we didn't cover it, if you're wondering, this was warded, but the Nocturne wouldn't have known that, right? So just to illustrate exactly what was happening, why the Blitzcrank and everyone was playing so far off, it's because they saw and kind of anticipated this. Now this ward is obviously going to die, and the Nocturne has two options here. Technically three. We know the Nidalee's going to go boom, 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 and what she could do is loop on up and do this. You'll see in the main channel video something very similar tomorrow. And then, of course, she has this option now to invade the Nocturne here, but it's still a Nocturne. He has lethal tempo. This isn't a champion you can kind of just walk over in terms of a PvP, especially if he sticks to you. We can also, as a Nocturne, gank this, protect this side, gank this if it's gankable, or just Karen sequencing. Call it a loss of time, carry on about your day. But because we know the Nidalee has done a red side and will now go for this, the Nocturne decides, hey, let's go for an invade. But if you look at the lanes at the moment, you're like, should we necessarily go for this? Now, obviously, the blue minions are going to push in a little bit. The Blitzcrank looks to kite up, but the ADC looks to go this way. In the meantime, the Nocturne goes for this right here to face check it. So you're looking at it and you're hoping your bot lane does what they're meant to do here, which is great, good positioning. But the Yasuo had prior, so the Echo follows immediately. Now, you got to look for the fights within the fight. So we currently have a 2v1. Nidalee rotates now to 2v2. Milieu cuts in to make it a 3v2. And I don't want you, by any stretch of the imagination, as you watch this fiesta, thinking that this is something you should be doing. You're straight up coin flipping. Now look at this. Why are we flashing into this? Well, we didn't actually flash. I mean, why are we hippity-hoppeting into it, but then he flashed into it? So yes, that was a bit unfortunate. Silly. Aggression. Unnecessary. A lot of the early leads that enemy junglers may have over you are self-inflicted. You know, like the Virkayu in tomorrow's video, you will see. If you follow my Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. And things like this from the Nocturne. You know, inherently, that these plays are hyper-aggressive, hyper-risky, and I don't really think you should be doing that in the majority of Elos. I mean, sure, you could get away with it. Like, say you know you beat the enemy jungler 1v1, you're going to go for it. The Yasuo's not going to rotate in your low diamond, platinum, gold, silver games. This bottom lane, it's just not going to pay attention to it. I don't really care so much about that, because if they do, you're causing a bit of problems. Pay attention to your fundamentals, pay attention to your lanes, and don't compromise your lane too much with these sorts of invades. Because you died, right? And even though our bottom lane are getting some kills back here and trading that red buff around, it's just not really worth the downside. So what the Nocturne says now is, all right, cool, right? We have a bit of a deficit. Well, we don't at the moment. We will shortly. The Nidalee obviously is going to go down here and push this wave out. How nice and friendly. Yasuo goes down. We know she's going to take these camps and this. The Nidalee showing means that the Nocturne immediately does not have to guess about the counter jungling. Because we know she did Red Krugs Raptors, 420 respawn, or 35-ish respawn. Again, depending on champion, depending on pilot, depending on elo. That's why I always give a range. We know that this will be up at this particular moment. At 445, you show up, you know that the Raptors are up. You know that this is up. And because, benefit here, he's going to go back and do this into the scuttle, into this bottom lane showing, and then fall back to these two camps. We can just take this away completely. Now, what the Nidalee should do is preemptively note in her mind that Nocturne's probably doing that, and she could always take this and do something about bot lane. Now, if you're in Elise, that's huge. Nocturne could obviously go for the Akali. 523 should be pretty damn close to 6, halfway. Oh, wait, she died. Excuse me, she died, so that compromises it. Rumble does hit 6 ghost results, so in this particular case, we're focusing on the analytical point of this game, but if you're in-game, make sure you're pressing that tab and you say, okay, Akali died, right? Akali's dead. What did I say? What did I say? She didn't go for the counter jungling, but she knew that the Nocturne most likely was going to be taking some stuff, so goes for the gank on the bottom lane, especially when the ADC's by himself. Nice kill. Always able to do that as well. You don't have to take camps and then gank. You can gank first and then retreat, because you know the Nocturne's going to be showing up because he didn't chop for this. Should have, maybe, right? Should have, but didn't. Nocturne level 4, Nidalee level 4, but, well, she went back to base. As expected. If you're the Nocturne here, you could probably, in lower elos, assume maybe she's staying out, but 99% not doing the dragon, and because she did all of those blue side camps, we'll go back to base now, buy, reset, and go back onto the map. Good ward here. Nocturne, you see that? Nocturne. That's why I tell you to keep that warding totem first rotation, and even sometimes second rotation if you die or have a rough early phase, because we're able to know the Nidalee's timers from the early rotations. We know, right, that she started here and went to the side and then stayed the side after the first skirmish. So we can go and counter jungle, leave a ward, and track now. If she comes down to this side, or if she doesn't show indirect evidence, she must be on the bottom side again. So you can keep your eyes on that. Because we know most likely after this kill here, she resets for the first time. There we go. She's down on the bottom side. Didn't see her on the Raptors, so Spider Sense is going off, or Venom Sense in the case of Nocturne. Let's go ahead and do a bit of a gank here. Here, Tether must go through. We do hit the Umbral Trespass Q thing. We do get the kill. Fellas, oh, that was disgusting. Xayah Root. The champion is kind of strong. So again, a little bit of a 50-50 fiesta, right? Pushing our limits. We can talk about the decision making all we like, but we all overcommit on mechanics quite often. And it's Duskbringer. Duskbringer. There you go. So once Nidalee doesn't show here, you know she's probably down bottom side. That's why he can go for this, and counter gank it, be present, or if she does show up here, gank before she's able to arrive. Now, unfortunately for us, Xayah may plays. Yes, we got the Blitzcrank, and now Blitzcrank's gonna roam. Now we know Nidalee should, in theory, go back to the top side. It would be a little bit curious if she does go all the way to the bottom side again just for dragging or something like that. Unlikely. Echoes prior. He's in the river. Scuttle Crab available. All these camps available. Octa's looking at this and going, I don't know. And also, you would note that the Rumble died again in the meantime. So, there we go. We don't have 6 yet. We need to get the Scuttle Crab to get 6. Getting this ward here, which not quite enough. And now again, Nidalee. Is she going to show bottom lane again? Yeah, I get it. But your support is roaming here for this control. Why would you necessarily go down to the bottom side and vertical here? Like, you have this here. You can take it away. You can apply pressure then afterwards. I get it. I get it. Like, I know why. We all know why. Okay, that bot pressure, bot lane camps, Rogue Dragon's going to be available. Blitzcrank is roaming. It's a 2v1 from ADC. But that's just it. It's a 2v1 from my ADC, right? So, like, can we 2v2 them with Nidalee and Xayah at this stage? Wouldn't it be better to play around by Blitzcrank, create numbers advantages elsewhere? Suppress the Nocturne a little bit, maybe get this Herald after doing the right side, doing something mid lane, and then we can go leverage a 3v2 on the bottom side. Now, because she chooses to hang so much around this bottom side, which again isn't incorrect, right? She gets a kill, she syncs up with the Blitzcrank. This is good, this is fine. But there's no reason you couldn't have done your red side cams, cut in, and still done the same thing, right? You didn't have to show for this. You know what I mean? And now you'd have these blue side camps to fall back to. This is something that Kenya does super duper well when he's tryharding and not like limit testing everything, right? He does it super well. He never lets camps be open, and he will ensure he gets his camps here. And if he sees you as Nocturne go up here, he'll take this as well, dive your bot lane, and have this fallback. 3 quadrant control, right? Just with that ideology. He's very good at that. But the pressure's not bad. You know what I mean? You just compromising your own income a little bit. And Nocturne, you know, to his credit, says, all right, cool. Can't help you right now. Hit the microphone. Can't help you right now. I'll just do the Herald. Then I'll go back to base, and I know you took my red, so I'll just do my Krugs Raptors. No stress for me. My ult is available. Maybe we can do something. So we have a bit of a deficit here, for sure. It will grow a little bit. Nidalee is, what is she at now? 3.9k gold. We're at 3.4. She is 500 ahead. IKP, we're at 0.22. Both deaths. Well, second death is okay. It's just a bit of a overcommit, but the first death was definitely our fault. We're activating the Herald here. Echo's going to chuck out the parallel convergence there for the Mega Stone. We're just going to try and get some places. Yasuo's going to go in and hit the ult there with melee rotating as well. The Wind Wall will do things. We're going to give them some darkness and go real deep onto the Yasumi. What is with people doing that today? And yesterday? And recently? I know it's summer, guys, but, you know, it's too early on the Herald there. You know, Nidalee at this stage, right, after diving this and taking bot lane again, she now will have to go to the top side because there'll just be such a big gap between those bottom lane camps and top lane camps, and then she just rotates, cuts off counter ganks, and again, you're dead. So we're not jungling very well. But that's the point of this video for once. We're not having this runaway snowball giga game. Right? We know she took the dragon. We know she took the red side. She has a red buff. She's going to do that. Fall back to a blue side after taking the skull crab. We have here Nocturne's ult up in 93. Can we kill the Akali? So we might as well just farm a little bit. Try to get as much of a sequence as we can. And then look to use our ultimate again afterwards, right? That's what we want to do. So, meantime, don't forget to boot camp. Yeah, July 24th. You would have seen the pop-up at the beginning. And also, all of my courses on Virkayu.gg are now available through a membership, 25 euros. Get all of them from that price. And join the private Discord. We're going to have a whole bunch of events, giveaways, tournaments, and a whole bunch of things in the next month or so. Sorry, I had a bit of a replay freeze. So they kill each other again. They're just doing that. We did a blue side quadrant. We go back to base. We finished the Stride Breaker. Mythic completion. And now again, 37 and ult. Shadowy bot lane. A lot of pressure has been applied by the Nidalee. The map is looking not so good. Yes, we've got some plates, but we're still holding decently well. Now, this particular stage, all right, the Blitzcrank, woo, that was close, is there. The Nidalee is here. Yasuo is taking everything. Echo does hit the W. He has ult to play with. We can rotate to this after we take the Krug camp. The reason we're waiting is because we don't have numbers. We have to wait for the bottom lane so we can take the Krugs. We're waiting for our ultimate. We're going to go in now. Echo is forced to flash. Dies anyway. Does get the flash from the Nidalee to get the kill. And now we're going to try and do something here. Let's have a look. Aphelios is in the backline. We activate the darkness and dive to the backline to get that kill. We have Stride Breaker. Rumble rotates with his R and gets the slows and the burning tick damage. Whew, that's the turning point. And sometimes, my friends, it is just that simple. Seriously. It's that simple. I don't want to condone his behavior and his deaths and his pathing and his high risk. But if you're able, and as we see here, he is not doing some active tracking. But if you can see from this game the crucial moments that allowed him to calm down, that's a differentiating factor between a high elo player doing some high risk plays and losing out a little bit, you know, like early and we were what, 0-3-2, and now we're 2-3-4. And we're going to start to rack up those kills as we go forward. The difference is the recognition of that was too much. I'm going to relax. I'm going to take my quadrant, wait for my ultimate cooldown, get strong, get my mythic item, and then I'm going to look for the next fight, right? That concept is so damn important. Now, the Rumble is snacking camps, which again is not a pleasant thing. So the Yasuo shows up here. We have Echo going down with Emilio. We know the Akali could rotate here. We need to smite it and get out. I would hit this just to be sure. There you go, right? Like that makes me a little nervous. I would hit this just to see what's going on. We do hit, obviously, our Duskbringer. Now we can collapse. The Akali will rotate. We do have a 3v3 at this stage. Beautiful parallel convergence on the Nidalee to zone as they kill down the Yasubi. The Akali rotates down, is cut off by the Rumble. And now we can chase down the Nidalee and say, can I catch you? As Zaya kills the bottom lane turret and Aphelios. Yeah. I think this about describes where people's mental is at the moment. Phyllis is like, yep, you better be happy I'm 2-4-4, not 2-10-4 with the way this game is going. Obviously now we're worried about this, so we're just a little bit safe. I don't always like the over-chasing, but I think what the lesson is here, that I have covered on the gameplay channel, is the ult is available, so we can go straight into the Blitzcrank here. Oh, Zaya, man. Zaya's a tough one. Is, if you're behind a little bit, and you don't necessarily have as much 1v1 potential as you usually would, it's okay to roam around with your team in a death squad, goon squad. Have the numbers advantage wherever you go, and punish the enemy team for overcommitting and not setting themselves up. Because they're not setting their feet, right? They have the lead, but they don't set their feet. So you just run 4 people bot lane, have a numbers advantage. Run here, 4v3, have a numbers advantage. That's on the jungle and the support to make that happen. When the Blitzcrank was here, rotating around here, and the Nidalee was here, she didn't make that happen, right? And while she did make a good play going to the bottom side, the Nocturne is doing a good job being with his team in those critical fights when his ult comes up. Now, 68 seconds. We do want 11 as soon as possible, so the next time we use it, we get the benefit of the damage and the cooldown. Rumble's rotating. Blitzcrank is on the bottom side here. And Fearless is like, well, I don't want to split past a vision line. Who is he? Who is this genius? Not ADCs in our game, I can tell you that much, because they would just push up here and die to someone. Yasuo roams to the mid lane. They're going on this second Herald, which we want to contest. Can we do so? There we go. Hook committed. Yasuo goes all in. Parallel convergence will hit nothing. We get shielded. We get rooted. Well played by the red team. Immediately turned. They played it well. And the Nocturne, is most important thing here is just survive. Survive as much as possible. You could go ahead and do your grump, but I'm a little worried about that. That's why I always phrase those things that way. Scientifically, right? You could, may have, probably. There is a chance. Like, you have to acknowledge you don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you have to kind of assess things by what you think is most probable and what you can do about them in those situations. Okay. Well, maybe we can still turn a kill. Maybe we, oh, well, we can maybe, yeah, there you go. That's 2 kills. Ult activation, can't see shit. Boom, baby. We'll take that one as well. Turret will fall. Ooh. Where did she chuck the spear? Sneaky boy. Nicely done. See, that's the thing on dragon fights too. You always see that on dragon fights. There's 4 people in the middle doing the dragon. Then one team shows up with 2 on the side and 2 on the side. All you got to do if you're the 4 is pick a side, preferably the one you can easily beat, and vacuum them away. Same thing, top lane there. You're getting dough from below. Zaya's by herself. 2v1 her. There you go. Always look for numbers advantage. The fights within the fight. The skirmishes within the skirmishes. You can create numbers advantage even in the worst games. You will find yourself with the possibility to win. Because we're 4-3-6. No one is playing particularly well. And Nidalee has done a good job. I think definitely compromised a little bit of econ, over-focusing on the bot lane early. But she's done a good job, as you can see, hatching that up very, very quickly. We haven't spoken about it, but she's ensured the shove of waves, holding of waves, and collected camps during all of the downtime of the Nocturne's deaths. And everyone else's deaths. G616, she's doing solidly. End of story. Nocturne's on the top side. We see that as Nidalee, so we go straight for the dragon. Red buff is not up. Rugs are being taken by Yasuo. Echo's holding. Kali's moving to this way. We see this. Red buff is available. Oh, the buff is available for Kali. We're pinging that off. Nocturne takes the crab, falls back to his blue side. Patience now. Patience. You want to win these kinds of games where you have a little bit of an int. Things don't go perfectly for you. You want to just keep your head on straight and look at the minimap the whole time. You see it as well. Okay, Kali top lane. She has TP. Push Zaya in just a little bit. Watch from the bottom. Fog of War. We have spell shit if we need to. Everfrost. Now Echo's leaving his base here. Phyllis goes in with the ultimate. Hits a beautiful root. Rumble ult from the backside. Hits that. Phyllis is going super deep. The Nocturne decides to ult and go straight onto the Nidalee to keep her out of the fight. If the Phyllis going, like, this is brilliant. Like, good job ADC. But the Nocturne played around it perfectly as well. We see this. We don't overcommit under the turret to die. We ensure we're keeping our Rumble alive. We're keeping our teammates alive. We're picking off the people we can pick off. Huge turn. Huge turn because 2 people, actually, I lie. Everyone on this team knew their role in the team fight. Huge when it happens. Now, a lot of you will say, but what happens if no one knows their role in the team fight? As long as you know your role, you can carry team fights. What do you think it's like playing as a tank? Always enjoy playing as a tank, right? Mages too, backline mages. Out of my like top 10 to 15 champions that all have like 200, 300k plus, right? Every class is covered. Marksman, tank, fighter, assassin, mage, no enchanter. But I can put Ornn in that category, I think, right? Yeah. You know, it's just, you have to learn at the base level, if you want to be a good player, if you want to be a high elo player, what each class has to do in team fights in different scenarios. Because you might think, hey, I'm an assassin, I have to dive the backline. Okay, what if you can't get to the backline? And what if you have a strong carry here that's being 2v1, 3v1? Can you help with that? While someone else deals with the backline, right? Where is your positioning and what should you be doing? However, if we do see Zaya in the top lane and 2 people walk in front of the Baron pit when they should not be, then you pull the trigger, right? That is the assassin gameplay. Hey, guys, 1-1. So I'm gonna make the pick. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Teamfight in mid lane was great because everyone went to the target closest to them and they just wiped everybody out. The enemy team had no idea what to do. Blue team did. Here now, Xayah shows top lane, Yasuo shows bottom lane. You're the Nocturne. Pull that trigger. Go in, make magic happen. Take the Baron afterwards. Pull back and take this Scuttle Crab. We now have a Stridebreaker. Black Cleaver should have enough for more of a Mortius this game. Now, the GA is what this play typically runs. I do recommend it in most games as well because it's the X factor, right? You die, this particular stage, you could lose. Stopwatch, GA, keeps you alive. Now, I don't like this at all. Give it to the jungler, give it to the jungler, give it to the jungler, you get a red buff. I think it's pretty good. Either way. Now, Xayah's out of position. Is she out of position because teams are shadowing? Or do we have visual confirmation of someone else? Do we have visual confirmation of someone somewhere else? Which we do here, which means we can go in. Obviously, it is a Xayah, so you want to make sure you're saving your spell shield for as much as you can. She's a difficult one to go on, but we don't overcommit here. We turn back using the HP granted to us by Black Cleaver, by Stridebreaker, the Mortius, Hex Drinker, and the Rumble rotates as well. Now we're going to try and keep our Phyllis alive. You notice how he's peeling. Let Rumble do his thing. Keep the Phyllis alive as long as you can, even if he dies. The importance is that you did it, because usually the right play will always be rewarded. I know sometimes it isn't, but 99% of the time it is. This guy has no TP, so he can't rotate, but he can split push. This person also has no TP because they both use it at the same time, but we have Baron, so we can push. She will have to return back to base. The ability to go in when necessary, and also to turn back when necessary, and also to not overchase when tempted to. Those three things determine when you win or lose these games. Now, obviously, Akali goes back to base. We know she's going to show. We get the fear through. The Echo rotates. Nicely done. We always like watching an Akali go boom, boom. Beautiful switch. Like, the Nidalee has played well, but she has played well without thinking too much about the Nocturne, without sort of really pushing the map. And it feels like she wasn't necessarily as present as you would assume someone with this KDA was, right? Like, it doesn't feel like she was controlling the game at all. Does it make sense? Again, red team out of position. Nocturne presses the button, goes all in. Now we can chase because of the Rumble, has his ult. Boom. 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 Sometimes you're winning and then you lose. Sometimes you're losing and then you win. And that's a very important lesson for your mental approach when you make bad plays. But if you can have that mental approach when you make bad plays, then have it when your teammates make bad plays. Because sometimes your team are just going to die in certain scenarios, and you have to make lemonade out of the lemons. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to. So yeah, I like this game because it wasn't perfect. It was definitely a struggle early, but the guy turned it on and really had a beautiful mid to the late game in terms of positioning, running around goon swatting, and still getting a lot of CS. And the Nidalee did catch up to her credit, but I do think she gave away a little too much by that bot lane focus to a farming scaling jungler who built as he should to win this game. Thank you very much for watching. Bootcamp tickets linked below. Virkayu to GG for your jungle courses and memberships. And Zara GG for your live companion guides for your champion-specific builds and tips live in-game. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you all in the next one.